I am going to show you how to edit your Elementor website. This will show you the most important things that most people do, such as just editing and changing text and images, editing buttons, and adding a container. So what we want to do to start is we want to go up here to edit with Elementor. This is where we always start. We don't want to do the header. If we edit the header, that will change the header on every single page. If we edit the footer, that will change the footer on every single page. So we're always going to start with edit with Elementor. You also don't want to click edit page. It seems like that's what you would want to do, but if you choose this, you'll be going into the WordPress block editor, and that's not what we want. We want to use all the great tools we have here with Elementor. So I'm going to start by clicking here, and that will bring up our dashboard for editing, our content management system, if you will. And once we get to the content management system, you'll see that you have a toolbox on the left-hand side and several buttons across the top. The most notable ones, I'm not going to go, I have another video that talks about a lot of them, but this one will take you back, let you exit to WordPress, and also see your history so that if you need to roll back a change, you can do it using this button. This lets you see your website on different devices. So the ones we use mostly are desktop and mobile. So if we want to see what the website looks like on mobile, we would click this. Now, if you click mobile and you see some areas grayed out, that means your developer has set up a separate header and footer for your website's mobile version. So like on my mobile version, this cute little puppy is not showing just because I want the page to load faster. So you can see it's great and hashed out on here. If you go here, you can see where is he? You would see the pup. And then the other most used button over here is this. This lets you publish the site, which is the same as saving it, and also view your page if you would like. So to get started, what you want to do when you're editing is you'll notice when I mouse over any box, I get a pencil and these pink handles. They all have different purposes. This lets us add a container. So if I wanted to add a container to my page, I would click on this plus and it would give me this dialog. We're just going to click the plus again, which lets us choose a layout. I use Flexbox, and you can choose if you want just a long column that you add things to. I'm going to, for the sake of this adventure, choose a Flexbox with 2 columns. Once you've chosen your 2 columns, what you can do is you can come over to the toolbox and decide what you would like to have in this column. So if you click the plus up here, those will bring up your menu of elements. And I'm going to do the most basic of things. I'm going to say I would like text here. So see that adds a text box, and we can edit the text over here. And then over in this box, I would like to add a image. So I'm going to go back up here to my menu and put a picture over here. And put that in here. So now I've got text, and then if I want to edit the text, of course I'll mouse over it and I see the pencil, right? So I click on the pencil and I can start typing some text. We want to say it is critical to do an annual website checkup to, okay. So That is it. That is your page is edited. So if you want to see how this looks, you would publish it, and this would save it. And hopefully nobody's visiting my website at the moment because they'll see this weird box here. And then if I want to preview the changes, so if I wanted to see them before I save them, which is probably what I should have done, I would click here. Or if you've already saved them, you can click on this down arrow and view the page, and you'll see here's the changes that I made. So I'm going to exit out of this and go back to where I was editing. I did want to show you something about these flex boxes. They are amazing. What you can do is you can decide how the things in the flex box are arranged. So maybe I don't want these to be side by side. I want them to be stacked on top of each other, so I can tell it to stack them vertically. I can tell them to reverse them, or I can tell them to reverse them vertically. So that is a pretty neat feature, and that works also in, so if I added another element to this Flexbox container, so we have a Flexbox and a Flexbox. If I added another element to this right now, it's telling us that it's going to go up and down, right? So a horizontal, let's say I added a button here. So this we know will be top to bottom, and then I could add maybe an icon under here. I don't know why it would do that, but so now we have this. But if I go up here, click on this little I don't know, box right here, and I tell it I want it to go reverse, it'll change it. So now we have the star on top. I can tell it to go backwards. So now the star's here, and then I can tell it to go this direction, the star's here. But obviously in this situation, top to bottom makes the most sense. You can also, when you click on here, do some things to line up the items in the box. So let's say I want it to be centered. That will center the elements in the box. Notice this text isn't centered. If I want to center the text, I would click on the text item and center it here. So now my text is centered. So this particular element is centered, and each of these elements individually are centered within the container. So that is really what I wanted to show you. Let's say you're on a page and you want to change an image. You would click on Edit Image, always the pencil. This pencil, this duplicates it, this deletes it. So you're going to edit your pencil, come over here, click on that, and we can choose a different image. So here's another image. So another thing we can do if we want is we can duplicate this box. So now we have 3 columns, and we click on the image and choose a different picture and throw that picture in there. So when you're editing pictures, I'm going to just spend just a few minutes on this. You can choose the image, and then you can choose the resolution. These will change the size of your image. See, that's smaller. A lot of times I do full because it has the sharpest picture. The only thing is, if you're using full, you want to make sure you have a plugin on your site that's also smashing images or optimizing them for size. One thing you can do here is you can add a caption if you want, and you can link an image. So say I want this image to be linked to another page. I would select custom URL, and then I would start typing in, let's say I want this to go to the contact us page. So I select the contact page, and that would make this good to go. So let's preview this by clicking the eyeball. And we can see this is what it would look like if we were to publish it. And you can see when I mouse over this, that it's going to go to, that it's a link. And this one, see how I still have a pointer? It's just pointing to that page. So let's see, we got that. Another thing that sometimes you might want to do, and every single element in Elementor has this content, style, and advanced, these tabs for the element. So you can go in and you can take a look at your different options. So we can make this, we're going to change the width of this image. We can change the height of it. So we just made that look really funny. So there's a lot you can do to play around with the different elements on your page. If you want it to have rounded borders, you would choose a border type, and then like this. You see how we're getting round borders? See the images? It's rounding. And then if you go to advanced, you can change the margin and the padding. The padding is inside the box. So watch what happens when I start. And I always like to use percentages because they seem to work better across different viewing devices. So padding is on the inside. So if I go like this, see how it's getting smaller. It's making space around the image. That's called padding. And this works for every single tool in the toolbox. I'm going to take that back to 0 so we don't have any padding around there. And if I go margin, that's outside. So when I go margin, well, that's a little bit harder to see here. I'm just going to do a top margin on this. So you should see it just moving down in the box. So see that changes the space around on the top of it. Let's look at it a different way. So let's look at one of the larger containers. So if we want padding, that'll change the inside, right? So we're going to go to advanced. I'm going to switch this to %. And I'm going to say I want padding. So it's going to add to the inside. Now it can't do a lot on the sides. You see it's not changing it. But if I change the margins, let me get these back to 0. If I change the margins and change the top margin, oops, I'm changing all of it. Okay, see how all the numbers are changing? That's why it's doing that weird thing. So we want to unlink them, and then we're going to change the top margin, and you'll see that whole thing move down on the page. So that is what a margin is. It's the space outside, and the padding is the space inside the specific Flexbox. So if I add a margin to this Flexbox, it'll change it above. So, but you can play with this. I know it's not, this is not rocket science here. But see how that's adding a margin there, moving that down. So those are just some ways that you can, some tools you can use to move things around on your page. We talked about linking this button. So if you click on a button and you want to link, this has no link because it has that hash. So if I want to link, I would just start typing in the page that I want it to link to. So let's say we want this to go to the graphic design page. So I start typing in that page name, and it's right here. So we just click on that, and now this will link to the graphic design page. I think that is all I have for the basics. Again, you want to edit over the element you want to change. Like here's a heading, and we get the pencil. This is an image. We get the pencil, and that's how we edit. And then we make our changes. We preview them. And oops, there's our preview. Close our preview page, and then we publish it when we're ready to go. And that will show our changes to the world. So one thing I always do though, before I let you go, is when I'm making changes, I'll also go over here and check just to make sure they look so fast. They look okay on a mobile device. So this is what that section we added looks like on a mobile device. It just stacks up top to bottom. So this is what it would look like on a tablet that is horizontal, and a portrait tablet. This is what my website looks like. So go back here to the desktop. That's just your developer probably has done a lot of work to make sure your site looks nice on mobile devices. So when you add things or change things, just double check to make sure it still lines up and looks okay. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.